All right, welcome to the latest episode of Jets, Mets, and Regrets. I am coming at you live from Atlanta, Georgia. Well, it's not technically Atlanta because no one in Atlanta wanted to pay for baseball, so we are way up in the suburbs. But this stadium is beautiful. This is a beautiful stadium. Jason, have you been here?
Yeah, I've been there once before, and I think it was their first or second year open. And yeah, beautiful. I mean, you gotta love modern baseball stadiums. They build them so well. You're so close to the action wherever you are. The amenities are always awesome. But yeah, I have been there before. Even though they are a rival, I do enjoy going to ballparks. That is a life goal of mine to go to every ballpark.
I never went to Atlanta proper. But this stadium is goddamn beautiful. So
And Rick, I know you're the one who usually asks the questions, but I have to know. I know you're chowing down on some nachos and popcorn. How are they? Are they good? Better than back in Chicago? What are we thinking?
so the nachos and the popcorn are okay. We went to the chop house up top and had some of the bratwurst and a little bit of the meat nachos. Phenomenal, phenomenal food, great service. I really don't have a complaint about the way things are here at the stadium.
Awesome. Yeah. Besides the fact that they're 8.5 out in the NL East lead, but we can
Uh,
get into
you
that
know,
in a second, right?
something loud just happened. I think someone probably just hit a home run or something. Not entirely sure what's happening. So all the math that I have, all the data I have is from before today's Mets game, which is at 3:45 Eastern time. Jason, I have to say, Eastern time, Eastern time. Eastern time is the worst time. That's it. That's all I have. Eastern time sucks.
Oh, it's horrible. I mean, right now it's 9:40. The game probably won't end by you until after 10 p.m. It's horrible. I agree. I
I
went to the
watched.
Diamondbacks. Oh,
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I went to the Diamondbacks game last night. I was home by 10 o'clock. Left the stadium at 9:30. No traffic. Full 10,000 fans in attendance last night. It was perfect. I love the no traffic and the in and out.
Dude, I watched the Brewers play the Padres last night on TBS, and the game wasn't over till 1 a.m. The Eastern time zone is a shithole.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. That's why I moved out west, Rick. That's why I moved out west.
That's fair. So hey, we're here today to talk about the Mets and essentially like quarter of the way through the season. Where are the Mets at? How are they doing? How do you feel about them? Where are we going to go from here? So,
Yeah.
Jason, what I ask you is like through one quarter of the season, how you feeling about the Mets?
Yeah, I mean, going into the year felt really, really good, right? And that bunch of free agent signings, a lot of hype around the team, brought Buck Showalter in. So, and I would say a quarter of the way into the season right now, it has lived up to the hype. Uh, Currently first place over the beloved Atlanta Braves that you're watching right now by 8.5 games, 8.5 game lead. And I also saw a stat, Rick. In the last 20 games, the Mets have gone 11-9, and they have gained 2.5 games in the NL East lead over that span. So I mean, the Mets are playing well and they're beating great opponents, but at the same time, their NL East foes have really been helping them out by a lack of winning. But the Mets have beaten great opponents. They've done well against the Giants besides this last series. They've done well against the Cardinals this year. Uh, they have some good series wins, which is definitely exciting to
Right now, is that game over?
the Mets game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did lose today 9-3. So if you were
So
to
that
summarize the series wins so far this year, the Mets have won 11 series. They've split one, and then they've lost 2 series.
I got it right in front of me. They've only lost to Seattle and the Giants.
Yeah, that is it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it right in front of me. Cheat sheet. Yeah, no, they've had a hell of a year. They've put together fantastic numbers. They split against the Braves, who unfortunately I'm here watching, and yeah, lost it to Seattle and now the Giants after tonight. But overall, the Jets pitching kind of anchored by a certain someone who is now on IR. But the Mets hitting has been pretty good all year so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a huge blow with Scherzer. I was watching that game live. Huge blow to lose him. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. So right now we're looking at anywhere from end of June to anywhere in July. I could honestly see it being after the All-Star break. And then DeGrom's still out. He began throwing at Citi Field this week. It looks like the Mets are optimistic that he could come back. Supposedly, reports are saying end of June, early July. So we'll see how true those are. But yeah, I mean, the bats have really been keeping them alive right now. Alonso, 41 RBIs, most in the National League. The next closest player has 7 behind Alonso. And Lindor having a huge game last night, 6 RBIs. He's actually third in the National League right now with 33 RBIs. So yeah, the hitting has been excellent. And what I love about this lineup is on any given night, whether it's Lindor, Alonso, Jeff McNeil's crushing it, clutch, hitting for average right now. Brandon Nimmo's getting on base. You just have a lot of guys who are contributing, which has been awesome.
Well, and Alonso leading the club in a lot of categories. Um, Obviously, getting out there and doing what he needs to do. But really, what it comes back to is the lost records against division opponents. Obviously, it split the Braves coming into this series this weekend. A little bit of a different animal, but rocking the Phillies, rocking the Nets, really doing what they need to do to be in first place in the division when it all said and done.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, we're competing against the division, right? We're trying to win the division. I think I still like to see the Mets beat better opponents, and right now you can't consider the division good opponents. So, beating teams out of the West, beating teams out of the NL Central, any good American League team. I think that's important for me as a fan right now. Because yeah, you could beat up on the Braves and the Phillies and the Nationals, but that's not the level of talent that we would play if we were to make the playoffs. So definitely want to see them continue to have series wins against these better teams that they play.
So for me, it's like a Cubs fan for my entire life. They're usually chasing. So for you, Jason, as a team that is usually chasing, to be in first place, where do you go next? Like, what do you expect from this Mets team to not win the division, but to continue pacing the division? Because they're in first place by a good amount.
Yeah, so I would say, I mean, years are mixed. There's a lot of years where we actually are in it until July, August, September, but we blow it. Last year, the Mets were in first place for almost the entire year. Come summer, August, September, Braves just put their foot on the gas pedal and the Mets weren't performing well. But I think from here, I think series wins are really, really important. The Mets haven't really put together a winning streak this year, to be honest, but they're continuing to be able to win series, which is the name of the game. At the end of the day, if you could win 2 out of 3, if you could win 3 out of 4, like that's going to put you in a good spot. And I think health is my biggest concern. I think if they could just play 500 ball right now until they could get a DeGrom back, until they could get a Scherzer back, and I think I'd be happy with that. Obviously, if they can do better, I'm okay with that too. But I think at this point, with the injuries, to lose 2 Cy Young starting pitchers at the top of your rotation, just how do you stay afloat until those guys come back and kind of pump some resources into you? So, I mean, going off of DeGrom and Scherzer, health, like we have to stay healthy. I think we've proven that we have a good team, whether it's our starting rotation, bullpen, we can talk about, a little shaky right now, and offense. But if we continue to compile just injuries, that's going to be detrimental to the season, in my opinion.
All right, so I have to ask you straight math. The Yankees are the better team right now. Where does that factor in your Mets fandom? Is it an AL team who's playing well, or does that actually like factor in So how you feel about your team?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of friends who are Yankee fans. I'd be lying if I said I don't pay attention to their win and loss every day. But no, I think right now I want the Mets to win the division. I want them to win the division, make the playoffs, and hey, like I said in previous episodes, we'll meet the Yankees in the World Series if they want to, right? If they're up to it. But as of now, like I think what's being focused on beating the teams that we're playing. I mean, there's going to be a Subway Series this year. We're going to play the Yankees once in Citi Field, another series in Yankee Stadium. So I think that could settle it, record aside, right? I mean, you could have a better record here or a better record there, but hey, how about head-to-head when we go up against each other? So hopefully the Grom and Trees are back for those.
How much more would it feel to you to beat the Yankees in the World Series versus say the Rays?
What type of scale do you want? What type of scale do you want, Rick?
If beating the Rays is like an 8, and like you really love it, and like yes, the Mets just won the World Series, how much bigger is beating the Yankees?
Let me put it in terms of this way. If we beat the Yankees in the World Series, there couldn't be a better outcome of a World Series than for the Mets to play the Yankees and beat them. That is the best possible outcome that can ever happen. That's the happiest I will ever be from a Mets World Series if that would ever happen. 100%.
So would it be more important to win the pennant and lose to the Yankees, or have a 110 win season and not make the World Series?
Man. It's not as bad as it used to be. I'm not on the East Coast anymore. Not dealing with the Yankee fans one-on-one, right? Not dealing with my friends. So yeah, I'll have to deal with some text messages back and forth. But I would say for the Mets to win the pennant and to lose to the Yankees in the series would be devastating. But to make the World Series would show that this team is capable of getting to a World Series. That they're that good of a team. And I think that they have a group of guys in that locker room and a manager and an owner who are hungry enough to say, hey, like, what were the missing pieces? What would we have to do? Whether it's the Yankees or any team, what do we have to do to get there? I think right now, honestly, I think Steve Cohen, within the next couple of weeks, depending on how the Mets play, with Scherzer and DeGrom being out right now, and I know Tyler McGill is out too. He should be coming back soon. I could see him saying, hey, let's go out and get a pitcher. Let's go out and trade for somebody. I know a lot of Met fans right now on Mets Twitter are clamoring over 49-year-old Bartolo Colon, the big sexy. I don't know if I want him, but hey, I mean, I would love to make the World Series, and I think at the end of the day, like, we just got to stay healthy. I don't know if you can see this right here. I don't know if you can see this. But if we got Rick, these guys are running for president this year. I don't know if you knew. I mean, we need these guys back. Scherzer, I was looking up some stats. I'm a big stat guy before the game. Scherzer has 5 wins right now. I'm pretty sure the league leader in the NL has 6 wins. And Scherzer's been out for a start or 2 already. So, I mean, the guy was pitching at a Cy Young level. Like, you got these guys back. Maybe I'm being optimistic, overly confident. I just can't see too many teams being able to compete with a 1-2 punch of DeGrom and Scherzer on top of the rotation that they have, who have been pitching pretty well in their absence.
At the risk of alienating people who watch our show, DeGrom, Scherzer, 22, they have my vote.
Hey.
They have my vote. It's probably the best combo.
2024, I'm thinking Rick and Jason, but we'll give DeGrom and Scherzer 22, right? We got to give them something. We'll wait a couple more years.
So we've talked a lot about the Mets. The Jets have been in practice for 2 days now. Do you have any thoughts on the new look Jets that you'd like to share with the people?
Well, if you're a true Jet fan, you've already heard this. This isn't new news, but as Robert Saleh said in his press conference the other day, describing Zach Wilson, he thick.
Dumb thick.
Hey, I mean, it's early on, right? It's early on, but from the start of it, Wilson looks like he's in great shape. Hopefully he could absorb some of these more hits in a full 17 game season. That's the concern. But I mean, they look good. I've heard good things about Sauce locking down Garrett Wilson. He was like glue on him. I think Wilson tried to throw a ball in. He batted it down. You're hearing good things about Elijah Moore, Conklin. Like you're just hearing really good news, and that's how it should be, right? I mean, when you're optimistic about a year, especially after an off season,
I'm feeling excited about it.
yeah, like you're feeling good. And at the end of the day, we have to see it really in the field. But I think it's similar to the Mets this year, where they went out. It seems like they made the right moves. They made winning moves. They want to win. Ownership wants to win. The players want to win. The head coach wants to win. General management wants to win. So I really think that like it's at this point it's up to the players and it's up to Zach Wilson. But everybody it seems like it's bought in.
So the big thing that stood out to me is that your quarterback put on 13 pounds of muscle. That's huge. He's wants to back down 5, I believe. He wants to play like 210.
Yeah, I think he said I thought it was 218. I thought he said he's at 221 now.
That might be fair. Yeah, that might be fair.
He wants to go to 218. From what I read, I'd have to double check
That's a
that.
big quarterback.
Yeah.
So for me as a non-fan, to see a quarterback put on upper body weight and work through it and put on upper body muscle, I'm excited. The Bills don't have a great pass rush. The Patriots don't have a great pass rush. The Dolphins are awful. So if the Jets can put on a little weight on the front end, not only from the quarterback, but from the offensive line, and give a little bit more time, I'm really excited to see how that plays out in the regular season.
Yeah, hey, at the end of the day, it's up to Wilson. He has the weapons, he has the run game, and if the O-line could stay healthy, he has an O-line this year. They went out and got Tomlinson from San Fran, right? Pro Bowl guard last year. Mekhi Becton coming back from injury, played at a potential Pro Bowl level his rookie year. Just a monster of a human being. 6'7", 6'8", 350, 360.
Brewers.
Brewers?
That's a home
run. But yeah, it's really up to Wilson. I think it's a lot is going to be on his shoulders this year, and a lot of the Jets' future is going to rely on how he performs.
So for the record, this stadium, not in Atlanta. It's not even close. It was like 40 minutes to drive here from not Atlanta. It's beautiful. So a little overdone. A little bit overdone. But to get back to what we're talking about right now, I'm really excited to see if your quarterback can be the second best second-year quarterback in the NFL. Because I still think Mac Jones is the best quarterback in that class. So I know we won't agree on this, and I know we're probably gonna like sound off in the comments. Who's better? But I'm really excited to see this year the Jets Patriots games because at least in my eyes, last year Mac Jones is a way better quarterback. And I don't necessarily believe that on a game-to-game level. So I want to see in the Jets Patriots games, does that play out? Because I think your boy is the better quarterback, but I haven't seen it yet. So I definitely want to get another season in. I want to see him a little more comfortable and see how that plays out. Because I think he has more potential than Mac Jones. But year to date, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I'm a big statistic guy by now. Statistically, Mac Jones did have a better year, right? Whether it was his own statistics or the fact that he led his team to a wild card berth, had a playoff appearance. Mac Jones was statistically the better quarterback. But I think I'm going off of, what I watched on potential. And I think that when it comes to Zach Wilson, and the reason why he was the number 2 pick at the end of the day is that his potential is a lot higher than Mac Jones. He's a dual threat quarterback. He could run the ball. His arm is definitely better than Mac Jones. And I think Belichick's still a smart coach. I think he proved it last year that he's still a very good coach in this league, and I think they tailored a system that really was played in Mac Jones' strengths for sure. But I would like to see this year NFL defenses. They always say they have a year's tape worth on Mac Jones. Is he able to progress his game, or did he show us who he is and what he has, and can NFL defenses make that adjustment? Where I don't think Zach Wilson has shown us his game yet. I don't think he's shown us how he can truly ball out.
All right, so we talked Mets. We'll talk Jets. Do you have a regret for this week?
So, I know I've been hearing it from the Jets, Mets, and Regrets fans, our loyal fans who are watching our episodes. They've been making fun of me, Rick. They've been saying, hey, your regrets aren't that good. You don't really have any. And I'm not trying to force it. I've been on a high when it comes to how the Jets and the Mets have been going. But I will say last night, Rick, I experienced a bad regret. A bad regret. So I'll get into it. I'm at the Met game. I'm not at the Met game. I lied. I'm at the Diamondbacks game last night. Went out with some coworkers. Left a little bit early, 7th, 8th inning. Came back home. Was watching the score on the Diamondbacks. They have the scoreboard, and they have AL, NL. They're showing all the scores for the night. Mets are down 8-2, right? Like, all right, we lost today. It's okay. We had a great game one against San Fran. We could go back at it today and get that win. So driving home, checking my phone, 8-4. Okay, 7th inning. We got a chance. We had a chance. Get home, flip the game on, 11-8. I'm texting my friends. Lindor got 6 ribbies right now. We're looking good. This team never quits. This team never out of it. 11-8. So I'm watching Rick. It's the bottom of the 8th, right? I'm like, I got home just in time. This is going to be great. Bottom of the 8th. Of course, they're giving up hits here and there, walking some guys. Jock Peterson comes up, launches his 3rd home run of the night, 3-run shot, 11-11. And then they bring in some more pitching, and they load the bases again. A bunch of little infield hits. Lindor got a ground ball. He tried to tag the guy. It fell out of his mitt. A bunch of stupid plays. They load the bases. They end up getting out of it. I'm like, all right, top of the 9. Let's move it. Dom Smith leads off with a triple. All right, let's go. Then with 1 out, they pinch run for Dom Smith. They got Janikowski in, fast 4th outfielder for the Mets right now. And Nimmo's up, sac fly. So bring the run in, 12-11, feeling good. Sound the trumpets. That's Edwin Diaz's. We've never talked about Diaz's entrance before, but they have the trumpets playing for Diaz. He comes in, not this time because they're in San Fran, but I'm playing it in my head because why not? And Diaz just did not have it last night. And long story short, I think Jock Peterson hit the game tying run, and then forget who it was, but somebody on San Fran ended up getting a base hit, and the throw home was late. So it was a big regret. I kind of wish I stayed at the Diamondbacks game, and I didn't watch the Met game last night. It was just one of those heartbreaking games where it's a tough loss, to come back. It's almost like you'd rather lose 8-2, right?
Right. Yeah, just lose outright.
Lose 15-2, 20-1. But the fact that you came back, we're up 3 runs, 11-8. The game got tied. You take the lead again in the 9th, and then you only lose it in the bottom of the 9th. That is just such a tough loss. And you worry in the back of my mind as a Met fan, because I know what devastating losses can do. You just worry, is that in the players' minds? Is that in their heads? Or what are they thinking about this tough loss?
So that's what I was going to ask. If you miss the playoffs by a game, how much do you think back on this week?
Would 100% think back on this game, and 100% think back on my text to my friends, which again said, Lindor with 6 ribbies tonight, and the Mets are never out of any games. Let's go. I would think, Rick, that I caused it, honestly. I don't know if I could live with my fandom. I might have to take, Met fans might suspend me for the year or something, like they suspended Robinson Cano for taking steroids the other year. I might get suspended for being a Met fan. I don't know what's going to happen to me, Rick. So I'm even worried for my own fandom if they end up, missing it by a game.
So my regret of the week is that I am in Atlanta. Um, so East Coast time is the worst time zone in the world. I don't know how you grew up in this shit. It's awful. Um, I watched the Padres and the Brewers last night because I'm an insomniac and a masochist. So at 2 a.m. when the game ended, I was still awake. This is awful. East Coast time is the worst time zone in the world.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And I have a little joke with my friends. We always say, on the West Coast, we technically have 27 hours in a day. I mean, think about it. Think about sports. Think about when games start. We technically have 3 extra hours in a day.
Like it was an early Mets game today. So I try to keep Arizona time so that I can like be in line with you guys when I come out there. So like the Mets game today was at like noon. And like no one plays at noon but the Cubs. So for that game to be over, I was trying to pull stats and shit to this show. So we talk about like who was the leaders for the Mets. And we end up coming out to the Braves game. And the Braves had like a late start of 7:20 Eastern time. It's like, it's my bedtime.
Yeah.
Can't do this shit anymore.
No,
I think it's just 7 days stretch.